So, as they say in English, barking dogs seldom bite. People will make noise. People will always make a fuss. And people will always say, they give their 2 cents worth of value and inspiration. But, you have to do what you want to do. And you do it in the best way possible. So the Prophet ﷺ trained and disciplined, organized a group of people who were not exposed to any kind of sophisticated theory or sophisticated culture or even civilization. But he took them and he developed them in such a way that it is miraculous that we go back into the books of Seerah of the Sahaba and see how well organized they were. Whenever they started something, they saw it through to the end. No, I'm not going to stop until I have finished this task. They all did that. And there's nothing that anybody would say is exceptional because they all did it. So if you have a plan in your mind, and you have resistance, and you have tolerance, and you have devotion, dedication, motivation, and stamina, you will get the job done, inshallah. So one of the points mentioned here on this is dealing with differences of opinion. Now, as I've tried to elaborate so far, there will be issues that will try to derail you. There will be problems that will derail you here and there. You might have to take a step back, or you might have to stop momentarily, but you still have to continue and go on. You might have hurdles like financial hurdles. It might be a question of time. It might be a question of philosophy or theory. It might be a question of withstanding the pressures of the community or the society or your own pressures. But you can take a time out. There's nothing wrong with taking a time out. Right? It is fine. You mustn't become depressed if you say, it's not moving as quickly as I'd hoped. You have to continue. So differences of opinion and the other issue here, dealing with controversial topics. These issues are designed to derail us. You must see them as a challenge. You must not see them as an obstacle. So you'll have the, the headwind, right? Creating a resistance against you. So these issues are headwinds, but you still have to continue, you have to go on. Just because you have a headwind doesn't mean you say the pilot's going, oh, we have a headwind today, it's 30 miles an hour, let's go back. He's not going to do that, he's going to adjust. Or the plane will adjust itself so that you reach your destination according to the schedule that you have. So that's what human beings need to learn how to do, especially Muslim workers, that you will always have a headwind. Sometimes you'll have a tailwind also, it will make you go faster, that's fine. But when you're in a headwind, then the headwind is supposed to be such that it, as Iqbal said, it's supposed to help you soar higher into the heavens like an eagle. When an eagle finds there's a headwind, what does it do? It doesn't butt its head into the headwind, it just goes higher. It avoids the whole thing. So Iqbal said in his poetry, so I think we should learn from that and see that if there are controversies in the communities and difficult times with the community, we should be able to adjust and we should be able to fly over those and get to our destination with this element of stamina which we are talking about. Right? So on the whole, we see that Islam in general has incorporated every aspect of human life, time-wise. As I mentioned, I started in the beginning by talking about the 5 arkan, and it's incorporated this longevity within us on a daily basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis, a lifetime basis. Okay? And then all the other aspects of the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ show us that he went through so many different types of hurdles, and he faced so many different forms of resistance, and it was until he died. It was until he died. So the reason for his death, as people say, is because he was poisoned, right? He was poisoned by the Yahudiya. So we see in the life of the Prophet ﷺ that at no point of time did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let him rest. You have to keep on going. وَعَبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيكَ الْيَقِينُ. Until you die, you have to continue doing this. Then we find amazingly that at no point of time during the Khulafa's lives did Allah say, you can rest. Abu Bakr was not allowed to rest because immediately when he took on the reign of Khilafah, he had to deal with the Murtaddin, the people who refused to pay zakat and the people who left Islam. He had to go there. So his 1.5 years that he was there as the Khalifa, he was spending thinking about those and making treaties with other Arab tribes and alliances. So he never rested. Umar radiallahu anhu did not rest, to the degree and point where he was assassinated. Right? Uthman radiallahu anhu was not allowed to rest, to the degree where he was also assassinated. And Ali radiallahu anhu, never a day did he rest when his Khilafah came. He was also assassinated. You understand? The reason I'm saying this is I want to dispel a myth. When we read history or the glory of Islam, and said, if Muslims establish Islam, everything will be good. Everything was good, but our understanding of good was not secular. The system worked, but because the system worked doesn't mean to say that Allah will not test you. That's part of life. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ, the Quran says. We have created you in turmoil and labor. Okay. So now, if we measure this life of the Prophet ﷺ, then we might find that according to secular terms, he may or he may not have been successful if he did not convert the person who wanted to poison him. If we were to measure the life of Umar, we would say that perhaps he was not successful if he was not able to convince that person who murdered him. And we would say that Uthman's life was not successful because he was not able to convince that delegation that came from Egypt. And we can say that Ali was not successful because he was not able to protect himself from the infiltrators. Yeah? So this element of stamina was proven by the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba, the Khulafa Rashidin especially, that you have to do it until you die. Until you die. You have to keep on going. And that is a mark of your success in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, whether historians nowadays can look at that and see whether it's successful, we don't care. We don't measure their success according to your values. We measure their success according to our values, and that is وَعَبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيكَ الْيَقِينُ. Worship your Lord until death comes to you. So until you die, you keep on going. You cannot afford to say that I've done enough. Now, having said all this, we must still prioritize